Back in 2008, India's Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, the ONGC, discovered a massive gas field in Iran. It was called Farzad-B, the perfect opportunity to boost Indian presence in Iran. But what happened next is a story of miscalculations. What appeared to be a done deal has slipped out of India's hands because Iran has chosen a local company over India. So where exactly did things go wrong? To answer this, we must go back to 2008. It was ONGC Videsh that first discovered this gas field. It sits at the depth of 20 and 90 meters, between 20 and 90 meters, on Iran's side of the Persian Gulf. How big is it? Farzad-B holds almost 23 trillion cubic feet of gas reserves. 23 trillion. And 60% of this is recoverable. India was in the driver's seat to secure this project. ONGC offered $11 billion to develop this gas field. But the negotiations dragged on. The biggest problem was Western sanctions. During these negotiations, there were 3 changes in the White House, from Bush to Obama to Trump. Each president brought his own policy and sanctions, so a consistent line of negotiation was not possible. ONGC submitted a master development plan for this gas field. This was in 2011, almost 3 years after this discovery. The talks continued until 2012, but that's when President Obama approved a fresh round of sanctions on Iran. So the negotiations were discontinued. Almost 5 years later, India tried again. But by then, Donald Trump had arrived with his maximum pressure campaign, so the talks had to be shelved again. These attempts and proposals bled a lot of money, $400 million to be precise. So India discovered a lucrative gas block, and India sunk millions into it, only to be dropped from the project itself. Clearly, US sanctions are the biggest roadblock here, but Indian officials did miss a beat. They blamed Iran for the delay. In 2017, the Indian side's first offer was $4 billion. This was then scaled back to $3 billion. In Tehran, officials sat on this offer for quite some time, and India saw this as a lack of interest. So what did India do? The government asked Indian refiners to cut Iranian imports by a fifth. As expected, there was a reprisal from Tehran. They reduced the payment window for Indian refiners. They had 90 days before the import cut, but now they had only 60. At one point, it seemed like the government was okay with losing this asset. At least that's what Oil Minister Dharmendra Pradhan said in the year 2017. He said India would not mind if the asset was denied. In bilateral projects, such remarks can be deal breakers. So that's how India lost a golden opportunity in Iran. The contract has been given to the National Iranian Oil Company and its offshoot called Petropars. They will develop Farzad-B for $1.7 billion. For India, this is becoming a template in Iran. Farzad-B is not the first project to slip out of New Delhi's fingers. Remember the Chabahar railway line? Iran dropped India from the project and decided to go it alone. The same has happened with Farzad-B. And these projects must be seen as part of the larger picture. In 2020, India-Iran bilateral trade dipped 80% in the first quarter, from $17 billion to just $3.5 billion. What does this say? The commercial links between the two countries are suffering, and this is not good news for India. Not just economically, but even strategically. Iran is India's key to Central Asia. It is the only way New Delhi can bypass Pakistan and reach Afghanistan and beyond. Once the US troops leave Afghanistan, this relationship becomes even more important. India will need Iran's help to smoothen any disturbances following the troop withdrawal. So what can India do here? First of all, secure its existing interests, mainly the Chabahar port. Iran's foreign minister recently said this port, the Chabahar port, was open for Chinese cooperation. He said that Chabahar is not against China or the Gwadar port in Pakistan. And this is a warning sign for India. It is time to loosen the purse strings, push on with Chabahar. Last month, we were told operations would start by May. We are halfway through the month of May, and there's no news from Chabahar. Right now, all of India's hopes are on the US-Iran thaw. If Joe Biden lifts the sanctions, business can return to normal. But the nuclear deal talks are painstakingly slow, so India cannot wait around for that to happen. Chabahar port is the last straw in India's Project Iran. Another misstep could see Indian interests bundled out of the Islamic Republic. It's a story we'll track for you. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.